disco.
This ain't no country club neither.
This is RVA.
Welcome, everyone. This is Lee, your friendly neighborhood dungeon master, and you might be wondering where the ladies are. Well, they've escaped the dungeon briefly. Liz is on vacation, traveling far across the ocean, but fear not, Olivia has joined us by phone. Welcome, Olivia.
Thanks, Lee. It's good to be on the O Lala podcast.
Our founder and beloved leader.
Oh, thanks, Lee. I know this is pretty cool, guys. We have Lee bought us this fancy podcasting machine, and we're able to call people in. And I've been sick, so that's why I'm not in the dungeon. But I'm glad I can still call in and be a part of this week's episode.
Yes, thank you.
Episode 13.
Yes, testing out our new technology and keeping our fans informed. You know, that's what we do.
Yep. We're dedicated to every other Thursday, and we'll keep our promise for the time being.
Well, Olivia, so you're sick, so you must have been very busy. You must have worn yourself out. So what did you do this week?
Well, I wasn't too busy when I was sick, but before that, when I was probably getting sick, well, hold on. I have some stuff to say before I get into what I've been up to. But
Oh, yeah.
Liz, like Lee said, sadly won't be joining us for the episode today. But that is okay, because she's going to our friend Lindsay's wedding in Manchester, UK. Yay. And then she's going belly dancing with camels in Marrakesh.
I didn't know camels belly danced.
They do in Marrakesh.
They're very tall. Marrakesh. She's going to Marrakesh?
She is, yeah.
Whoa.
Liz is like a world traveler. She does a lot of traveling every year.
Okay, she's going to have lots of stories when she gets back.
Yeah, I'm excited about them. Hopefully they're good.
All nice.
But we thought this episode 13 would be a good opportunity for you all to get to know Lee and I better as podcast hosts. So let's talk about what we've been up to. First, I'd like to wish Lee a very happy birthday. Cue the applause. It was his birthday yesterday. And that's very exciting. And I hope that you got to do some fun stuff. Did you do anything, Lee?
Well, yes. I usually spread it out over a week because my birthday usually falls on a weekday, and I don't take off of work. But Wednesday, I had dinner with friends I hadn't seen in almost a year. Yeah, I cooked baked rotini and my special garlic bread. But last night I went to see the Boogeyman with the Red Vein Army Horror Club.
The Boogeyman. I think did it come out last year?
No, that was it's been out for about 3-4 weeks.
I'm thinking about Candyman.
Yes, there's actually been 3 movies with the name Boogeyman. One of them came out in 2005, but this is the most recent one, and it's based on the Stephen King short story. This one, we went. Like I said, it's the Red Vein Army Horror Club, and there I met a friend who I hadn't seen in over a year and a half. So this has been a reunion. The real present this year is reuniting with people I haven't seen since, 2001.
Yeah, the COVID times.
Yeah,
kind of COVID times.
Now tomorrow night, I'm having dinner at Mellow Mushroom.
Oh.
Yeah. Now I know it's not local, but they have a big dining room.
What kind of is?
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's not. It's kind of a local chain. So,
it's a good one. Which one you going to?
Short Pump, I think. They have better parking.
Agreed.
I am a nut about that. There are things I don't do in Richmond because of parking.
Same.
Yeah, it's like, I like my car. It's like I once got a $200 parking ticket, and I've been paranoid ever since because they were really close to towing it, and that would have sucked. But
I've luckily never been towed in Richmond, but I'm lucky to have friends that I can park at their place.
Oh yeah, you have friends everywhere. You're so lucky.
Well, I made them. I used to not have any friends here.
Oh really? Well, I guess that just brings us to my first question for you.
Well, I'm not done. I got to talk about what.
That's right. You do. It's like but we'll segue later.
Yeah. Liz and I last weekend, along with several friends and some of her family, we went to Maymont Park last weekend for their summer concert series. We saw Skydog, which is Richmond's Allman Brothers tribute band, and Three Sheets to the Wind, RVA and America's, apparently, #1 tribute to yacht rock. And Lord, did we have ourselves a good time.
Yes, because you know
we
what
brought our own.
I'm a big fan of yacht rock.
So I don't think everyone is, because yacht rock is the best.
Oh yeah.
So we brought our own chairs, but we didn't sit much because we were boogieing to Steely Dan, Toto, and Hall & Oates covers until dark. And then we also had some amazing food from the food trucks. And the one that I loved that we both had was Latin Quarter, who specializes in plantain sandwiches and rice bowls. And we both got a rice bowl. It was called the Tumbao Bowl. And oh my God, it was so good. And then also we got churros, and we shared it with billions of ants because we left the churros on the ground while we ate our bowls, and ants, they got to it pretty quickly. Oh, wow. But I didn't notice. Extra protein. It was pretty nasty. Yay.
How many bites in did you notice?
I didn't notice at all until someone pointed them all out in the container. So I ate the whole churro.
That isn't pepper.
Yeah. Oh well, it tasted good.
Wow. Hey, it's
what?
It's a delicacy in some places. I don't know.
I suppose. Yeah, I've eaten worse things than ants. So. And then Father's Day came and went. Shout out to all the dads out there, especially mine. I have a lot of dad figures. So shout out to my dad, my stepdad, my grandpas, and all of the father figures that I have in my life. I'm blessed to have a lot of strong men that I look up to. And then I have one more announcement. Sadly, the ABS system in my car went kaput. So I took it to Firestone, and they told me to go directly to the Honda dealership to get it fixed. And they quoted me about $3,500. And I was like,
dun, dun, dun.
I don't have that kind of money. Dear God. So after I had a panic attack, by the grace of God, my godfather, one of the strong men I just mentioned, he stepped in and he had me take it to Glen Allen Service Center, which is a local RVA automotive shop. And they replaced my ABS system for less than a fifth of what Honda quoted me. So the car is as good as new now. I saved a ton of money. So I highly recommend them to anybody who has car needs and you're supporting a local business that's been around in the area for a long time. And shout out to the owner. His name is Jimmy. And he is so honest and he was so friendly. And they are my new car place.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Shout out to them.
Thanks for taking care of my friend.
Yeah, Jimmy, you rock. And if you're listening, because I handed him a card. Hi, Jimmy. Okay, so like we said, today's episode is going to be a little different because we don't have Liz and I'm not there in the dungeon and we don't have an outside guest. But don't fret. You get the chance this episode to get to know Lee and I because we will be interviewing each other.
That's right. Yeah, we've, Olivia and I go back about, it's pre-COVID. It's 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, we met at JJ's Bar and Grill.
We had a mutual musical friend, and we said, hi. And then...
if I was dating said musical mutual friend at the time.
And I said, and then we ran into each other again at the Red Vein Army Haunted House, the haunted attraction they have every year. And I was like,
good.
I was like, hey, I know you. And hey, I know you too. Hey, actually, I think I called you by your middle name.
You learned.
I did. I called you by your middle name because I'd forgotten Olivia. It's oh my goodness. Like you said, you must know me.
I like that name.
Yeah, you said, you must know me from Facebook then. And then what? Years later, I have my accident. I'm in the dungeon. I buy a studio, and then I see a picture of you singing. So I said, "Are you?" And I sent you a message. Are you still singing? Hi, I need a singer.
Yeah, you were going to pay me to come up with lyrics for your tons and tons of musical work. Lee makes a lot of music, if the listeners didn't know. He's quite the musician, and he can play the guitar, the piano, the drums, the bass, the harmonica. What else can you play?
Mandolin, theremin.
Wow.
I'm learning the saxophone and flute now. But
Wow.
everything comes in handy. You know, they're all. It's like once you know how to read music, it's like every instrument kind of helps the other one. But it's like,
Yeah, you're a true musician. Like, music is your soul.
yes, it's my passion. I'll even as a child, I used when they took pictures of me, I was always going. My first steps, I was walking over to the record player to see where the sound was coming from.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, you're a music lover too. I recorded my first. I think my first recording project after my accident in the new studio was Olivia made a CD for her friends and family.
Oh,
A
yes. I
Christmas
made a
CD.
Christmas CD for my mom and dad because they love, well, my mom, I don't know if my dad loves to hear me sing. I don't know. Maybe back when I was little, but my mom loves it. She's been begging me to make a CD for her for years. So I finally did with the help of Lee and
Yeah.
Lee Dungeon Studios.
Yeah, and then we ended
And
up
Lee,
talking.
you keep talking about an accident. I don't know if our listeners know about what
Oh.
happened to you.
Well,
Care to share?
I sure will. My wife and I had just bought a house, and 4 months after buying the house, there's a flight of stairs that lead down to the dungeon, and I fall down the stairs. I
And
don't.
these stairs are no
Yeah.
lame house stairs. Maybe they are actually. They're so steep and sharp and wooden, and I can't imagine the pain of even at like someone who's like maybe 10 falling down those stairs.
Yeah.
It's gonna hurt no matter how old you are.
Oh yeah, and the funny thing is, it didn't hurt for the first 20 seconds or so. It's like
That's how you know it was bad.
I got down to the bottom, and and then about 20 seconds later, I let out the biggest scream I've let out in my adult life. They took me to the hospital, and they found out that while I hadn't really broken any bones, I had dislocated. Oh, I had torn all the tendons in my knees. And
Jeez, the dungeon was not good to you.
no, it
moving
wasn't.
in.
Well, what an irony. Because
I know,
I was
for
in the
real.
hospital for a long. They sewed me back together the best they could. There's still some permanent damage. I walk around like Frankenstein mostly. But
At least you can.
yes, that's right. They made us go through group therapy. I met people who had it far worse than I did, so it made me kind of humble. And when I came home after a few weeks, my wife had set up a hospital room down here in the dungeon. Had my hospital bed, my wheelchair, and I said, "Well, I'm out of work for a while, so I'm just gonna start making music." And I started making music, and it kept getting better and better. And then they sent us back to work for 1 week, and then COVID hit.
Oh God, of course.
So yeah, so when the opportunity came to meet a singer, it's like and then the funny thing is when Olivia and I started working together, we ended up just talking so much. We talked about this, our crazy lives, and we said, we should make a podcast out of this. And Olivia and Liz have so many friends and so many contacts, and we decided that it's like this would be interesting people to talk to, just the local people.
And I'm just blown away by how quickly it all came together, our podcast. It was literally, we made our vision come to life. It just all worked out. You had the equipment. I had the marketing skills, and like me and you both are tech people, and Liz knows Richmond. She's lived here her whole life. So we're the perfect team.
I'm impressed. This has been I've had so much fun doing this. I never knew I never knew podcasting could be so entertaining. It's just, and being on this side of being the interviewer is such a I don't know, it's such a twist. I'm used to asking the question, not having to answer them. But this is going to be fun. This will be a real challenge. This is a real challenge for me. This is my Everest.
Yeah, it might be a challenge for me too, because I'm not the quickest thinker in the world. I'm not gonna lie. I'm someone who, like, for the previous, excuse me, episodes, Liz always makes fun of me because I come with a stack of, well, Lee prints it all out, but I come with a stack of information that I type up and give to Lee because I'm scared I'm gonna forget to say something that's important. So I come prepared.
Yeah.
So today, I'm challenging myself, and I am going off the cuff.
All right. Oh, I heard an echo.
Echo. Am I echoing?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
So let's tell you what. Let's put Olivia in the hot seat first.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. So here's our hostess with the mostess, Olivia.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I'm going to ask you a show-related question. What is the origin of the name O Lala in the dungeon?
Oh, this is an easy one. So I'm the O. Liz, she has godchildren from her best friend Amy's kids, Caitlin and Lauren, and they call her Lala. So it's O Lala, and then Lee is the dungeon.
That's right.
So that's how we got the name.
It took me a few weeks to realize, oh, Liz is Lala. Okay.
Yep. And then also it's like scandalous, like oh la la.
I
Like
know.
in the dungeon. I just thought it was kind of cute and catchy.
Yeah, it's got us a lot of attention, and it's surprisingly innocent. But we have.
And I
things.
also we have to give Liz some credit because I believe she is the one who came up with that.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yep.
man. She's a good researcher. She knows Richmond really well because sitting on her phone over there is a New Yorker. So
Oh yeah.
where are you from now?
I'm from Elmira, New York. So I'm from upstate New York. It's a very small rural town. It's not anything like New York City. And everyone here in Virginia thinks I'm from New York City. No, it's not anything like it. There's country roads and small town vibes, and there's not really that much
Cow pastures.
going on for someone who wants to be a career woman like me.
Mm-hmm.
So I moved.
Well,
but I lived there my entire life until I was 21.
Wow. So you really haven't been away too. What's the nearest big city to where you grew up?
Rochester and Binghamton. And I wouldn't consider either of them big cities.
Oh, okay.
But I went to college in Rochester, New York. I went to a small college called Nazareth College. And Rochester was fun. It's kind of like Richmond.
Of all the places in the world, what brought you to Richmond?
So in college, I was studying graphic design, and I took a web design class, and I hated it with all my heart. It was so hard. I hated coding, and I swore, this is not for me. It's too hard. And then I was also minoring in marketing. And the marketing department sent out an email to everybody saying, like, there's this internship in Richmond that they were encouraging us to apply to. And they had a bunch of, like, related majors. Like, if you're majoring in this, if you have these skills, apply. So, I mean, I was the type of person, I'm pretty spiritual. I'm like, maybe this is a sign. Maybe I need to apply. So I looked at the internship, and they did not have graphic design. They had web design. And I was like, I hate web design. So I talked to my advisor, and I was like, I don't know if I should apply. Like, I'm not very good at web design, but I have a pretty strong graphic design portfolio. And she's like, it doesn't hurt. Just apply. Like, send them the portfolio. Maybe they'll like it. So I applied, got interviewed, showed them my portfolio because I had been doing some freelance work on the side during college, like designing small restaurant menus like in the area for free. And the company, it was called Royal and Company at the time, they uh, saw it, my portfolio, and they said they would give me a call in the next week. And I ended up getting a call in 30 minutes, and they're like, you got the internship. So I came down here in 2016, and I can't believe it was that long ago because it seems like it was last year. And I had the internship, and then they ended up hiring me before the internship ended, and I had to graduate college first. So I had a job lined up before I even graduated. So I was really lucky, and it's a great company to work for.
Wow, you've been rolling.
So sorry, it's a long story, but that's the story.
No, I mean you jumped right in. You got right into business.
Yep, I'm a businesswoman. What can I say? And also, spoiler alert, I love web design now. My company taught me everything that I know, pretty much. Besides my, God love him, my old professor, Paul. Paul, sorry I sucked so bad in class, but we loved each other, though. He was a great teacher, even though I would not learn from him.
Oh, that's sometimes those are the best teachers, you know. But
yeah, he was a cool guy. We all loved him.
you recall some of those lessons. Now, how long have you and Liz known each other?
Oh my gosh, that's another long story. So when I first moved here, like we said previously, I was dating somebody when I first moved here, and that's how I got to know Lee. He heard me sing, and he was like, "You have an amazing voice. You should apply to be in like a band or something." So I took his advice, and I applied on Craigslist, and I met this man who I'm in a band with now, who's been a friend since I moved here, named Randy. And Randy in 2020, maybe I think it was 2019 before the pandemic, he recommended me to a band that needed a backup singer. And the band was Foreign Escape. And they were a Journey and Foreigner cover band, and they just really needed someone to hit those high notes. And none of the guys could do it in the band. So they hired me, and Liz was the lead singer of the band, and we met, and immediately we're like, oh my God, you're my best friend, like immediately. So we've been best friends ever since.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So you met through music. Isn't it
Yep.
funny? We've all met through music.
I know everybody pretty much.
So I think everybody knows you are you're our event, I guess say coordinator. You and Liz go out and see all the stuff that Richmond has to offer. And
that is Liz. That's Liz's department.
Well, you're there too. I've seen the pictures.
Oh, I'm there, but Liz is the coordinator. She knows, Liz has lived here since she was born.
Oh.
So she knows everywhere to go. She's a socialite. She's connected. She has tons of friends, and I'm so lucky that she adopted me into her family. I'm like her adopted little sister.
Oh, well, she's sweet, and you two work so well together. You practically read each other's minds. Now,
I know, it's kind of crazy.
Now you also have another partner, and his name is Haroon. So tell us about how you met
partner.
him. Yes, he is. He's your significant other.
Yep, Haroon is. What's that?
I said, how'd you meet him? And
we met on Tinder, like everyone our age does. We went out on a few dates. It's funny because I don't know. This is kind of an embarrassing story, but maybe I shouldn't tell it. But he came out a little too strong. Oh. So I'm not that kind of girl. So we didn't talk for a year after our first date because it's just so funny. But I thought he was really nice, though. Like, we had a nice conversation. He was sweet. So a year later, after like personal stuff had happened that whole year, finally ended all that, I reached out to him and I was like, hey, do you want to meet up? We met up and ended up really, really liking each other, and it's been history ever since. And I love his family, and He's very sweet and good to me. And also, he is European. So, once you go European, you never go back. I don't know. There's no phrase, but you get it.
Oh yeah. Well, so you're happy now. You got friends. You got a boyfriend. You got a successful podcast. You're doing quite well for yourself. It's like, but now I have to ask you the tough questions.
Oh no.
What is your favorite movie?
Oh, that's a tough one. It really is a tough one. I'm weird.
We're always top three.
I am like Barbie mixed with a 57-year-old divorced dad.
So you're Olivia Newton-John in Greece.
Yes, I don't know if this is controversial to say, but some would describe me, and this is not my words. I'm like a gay old man. I just am. Don't ask me why, but if you get to know me, you'll understand. But I love the movie Legally Blonde, but at the same time, I'm a horror lover, and one of my favorite movies from like way back in the day is Pet Sematary. Oh. I love The Evil Dead, the first, not the original and not the one that just came out, the middle one that came out in like 2013. Favorite movie though, let me think. I don't really have a favorite. I just don't. I have a bunch of favorites.
Yeah, I have like a top 3 at any one time. I know these things change, so it's like I know that we all kind of evolve, and it depends on our mood too.
Also, like with like Netflix, like I feel like I have favorite shows more than movies. Like I feel like I enjoy shows more because they last longer. I love Breaking Bad so much. I'm like a top fan. I could win a trivia night. And also I love Better Call Saul because that's the
want to see that. I want to see Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. But it's not streaming on any of the services I have.
Well, you got to get Netflix.
I'm going to. After this call, I'm going to go to Netflix. And I have to get my own because nobody can share passwords anymore.
Well, for some reason, Haroon and I are still able to, but I don't know how that is happening.
Yeah, it might not last long, but hey, enjoy it while you can. So describe for me, what would be your perfect date?
Perfect date?
Yes. What would you do? Where would you go? Favorite bar, favorite restaurant, favorite activity to do for recreation. What would be the perfect date?
Oh, okay. Well, it's hard. I guess it would have to be an all-day thing because there's a lot of things I like to do. I think in the morning, sleep in. Then we go to brunch.
Oh, you're a brunch person. Okay.
And then we go to brunch, but we're having a good time. There's a band. We're outside. Having some margaritas, having maybe a breakfast pizza, or I don't know, maybe a salmon Benedict. I just love food. I'm a big foodie. Yeah. Then we're going to a music festival for the whole day. But somehow after the music festival, we're not tired and we go to a beautiful either sushi dinner or we go get crab legs and there's more music. So basically just music and good food all day long.
And you like seafood then, obviously.
Yes, I'm a seafood person. I could be a pescatarian other than I love a good filet mignon.
Okay. I always wonder what are date activities these days? I know somebody who took his date to hatchet throwing. I knew.
It's fun for a second. I did that at my 10-year high school reunion.
Oh, you did?
Yep. It was fun for like 3 throws, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Okay, let's ask you about the bad stuff.
Oh Lord.
Do you have a pet peeve?
Yes, I have a lot of pet peeves. I don't like it when people whistle. I hate it. Unless it's really good and it's in a song. I cannot stand when people are whistling in public.
What is it about it that bothers you?
I don't know. It's just like a sensory overload type of thing.
Okay, I'll know what to avoid then.
Or know what's how to annoy me.
Well, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Our little sound effects machine makes a little wolf whistle.
So yeah, I like when people. Well, it depends on who it is, but if someone were to do woo woo at me. Oh,
Hmm.
and also fun fact: I cannot whistle,
You can't
so
whistle?
maybe that's why I don't like it.
Oh. That's why I hate it because I can't do it.
I remember when I was little, I was I did dance,
Yeah.
and I was waiting in line to get my picture taken for dance class because we had to like
Hmm.
have pictures, and this girl on my team was in front of me, and she kept whistling the same note over and over and
Mm.
over again, and I think I was like maybe 9. I start bawling, and I'm like, can you please stop whistling? I think it was like 9 o'clock at night. I was exhausted.
Ham, ham. Okay, for our fans, can you tell them the significance of whenever any one of us says the word ham, or a guest says the word ham, we laugh because on our first episode, which you must hear, Olivia, take it away.
So, excuse me, I keep burping. Sorry. So when I was in middle school, my 7th grade homeroom teacher was this very sweet but very, very old woman. And we had subs. I went to a Catholic school, and we had like subs brought in for food on sometimes for lunch. And she had to take our orders in the morning if we wanted ham or turkey. And one time she forgot to take our order, and like the bell rang and we were all going off to class, and she starts panicking. She's like, sit back down, wait, who wants ham? Ham! Who wants ham? And for some reason, that's always been hilarious to me. And I told my mom, and everyone who knows me thinks that ham is funny, and they think about me when they hear that word.
Yeah, that's right. You do. Every time somebody says it, you crack a smile. Now, I'm going to ask you another show related, or no, not even show. Just you and Liz, you hit the scene. You know the Richmond scene pretty well, so you've been to a lot of events. Now, some of them had to have been pretty crazy. What is the craziest thing you've had happen at one of those events?
Oh, there's a lot of things that I don't want to talk about on the podcast.
Okay, ones you can.
But let me think. Let me think. With Liz, there's been some Liz. Maybe Liz won't mind if I talk about this. She's pretty open. I'm not.
Uh-huh.
But Liz, if it's a good night with Liz, she will have a terrible fall, whether that be down the stairs and somehow survive. Whether that be walking the cobblestone streets of Richmond, she's fallen on my birthday. She's fallen. She still has scars from my birthday. She falls. She fell outside of Caddy's. So I would say if it's a good night, Liz will fall and somehow be fine.
Wow. Okay.
So I think that is the indicator of our fun.
Well, my last question for you has to do with the future of the show. Can you give us a hint about some upcoming guests? Just hints. Tease us a little bit.
Think over 20K followers. A couple of people who are pretty big names in Richmond coming up. And also we have, I'm not going to give it away yet, but we have an exciting new partnership with someone, and it's quite tasty, and I'm very honored that we have this opportunity. I cannot believe that the podcast is gaining this much momentum in just 6 months, so I'm proud of us. We're putting in work, but it's fun work, so it doesn't feel like we're working that hard. We're just doing what we love. We love our city. We love local business. We love each other, and it's just fun. That's why we do so well.
We love our listeners. Thank you much. Like and subscribe.
Oh, yeah. Follow us on Instagram
Yes.
at O Lala _RVA.
And we're also on YouTube. We're on Facebook.
Spotify.
Yeah, you can't not find us.
You can email us if you want.
That's right. In
Maybe
fact,
ask for our advice.
yes. You can text us, or text me if you want to. I don't know.
Don't text me.
Text me. I take text from anyone. I need friends.
All right, Lee. Is it time for you to be interviewed?
Okay, I've been putting this off. Okay, all right, tie myself to the rack and just take the questions. Go ahead.
All right. How did you wind up in Richmond? Are you from here?
I was born here. I was born in Richmond. After the death of my father, my mother and my sister and brothers, we moved to North Carolina, and then just in time for my senior year of high school, we moved back, and I've been in Richmond ever since.
Wow.
Yeah, that was 1980. No. Yeah. Okay, no, it was 1981. We moved back in August of 81. I've been here ever since.
So what was your childhood like?
It was a rough one. I'll tell you that. As I said, my father died when I was very young. My mother did not cope very well. So I spent a lot of time with grandparents and uncles and aunts and it's like I had one grandfather who was a minister, but I had an uncle who was a farmer. So I ended up, this was in North Carolina. This was Western North Carolina. I spent a long time there. And I was a preacher. I also became a youth pastor for a long time.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's where I got my public speaking skills and my music skills because I got to play organ and piano at the church. And
yeah, I actually know quite a bit about youth ministry. In high school, I dated someone who was very Protestant and very involved in his church, and I ended up going to the Protestant college.
Only boy who could ever reach me was the son of a preacher man.
Yeah, it was an experience for sure.
Wow.
I had some of the best memories of my life, though, at that college, even though it was like, I could tell you crazy stories, but I had a great time overall.
I once heard that women always like their men religious, but a little bit crazy. It goes together well.
I do like a man of God, but not too religious.
Yeah.
So you're married to Gretchen, who I love. She's such a sweetheart. How did you meet her?
Well, we were both in the Navy, believe it or not.
In the Navy.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Well, yeah. Not that version, but yes. We were both found medically unfit, and they were sending us home on a medical. So while I was in the hospital, I met this cute little redhead, and I said, hey, if I'm ever in Boston, I'll come see you. And I'd never been to Boston in my life. I'd never been north of Washington, D.C. in my life. So I said, I'm going to take a train up and see that girl. And I went up there. And then a week later, she moved to Richmond, and we've been together ever since.
Wow.
But I got to tell the pizza story.
I know, I was about to ask.
First time I met my in-laws. We were sitting around the living room, and they're a little nervous because they didn't know. People from the big city don't often meet people from the deep South. And there I was sitting in their living room. They were nervous, and I was nervous too. But I have this terrible habit. I like to make jokes, usually at inappropriate times.
I had no idea.
Oh no, really? You didn't? Okay, I'll have to show you that skill one day. Then what happened was her mother said, "Well, it's getting near dinner time. We're going to order pizza. Do they have pizza where you come from?" Well, I couldn't resist. I said, "No, but if you can shoot it, I can skin it."
I don't have my sound machine, but that was a good one.
So we still got married, but let's just say they looked around nervously, but I turned out to be a pretty good son-in-law, and they were great. They were great mother and father-in-law, and so that's the story of how we met.
That's cute. And you've been married since you were babies, pretty much, like 21?
Yeah, I was 23. Gretchen was 18. We've been together for. We're getting ready to celebrate our 35th anniversary soon.
Aw,
Yeah, 35.
congratulations, Lee. She's
Yeah,
a keeper.
yeah. Well, it's like we. So who else would have me at this stage? So I figured I better stay married.
Yeah, I love Gretchen.
Oh,
She's
she's the best.
she's just so kind. And
Yeah.
that's all that really matters
Oh,
to me.
she's a great example. She's the most annoying thing in the world. She's a great example. She's actually is a good person, but
Yeah, she really is.
she also has that Boston sense of humor.
And also, she's a tough cookie.
She's very tough. She was one of Virginia's top powerlifting women. She's an accomplished martial artist, and so she's an excellent shot with her Smith & Wesson Model 65. So there's no domestic violence in this household.
Except maybe
I behave.
that we don't know about towards you.
Yeah, I behave. I know. It's like, it's like I know. I did fall down the stairs. Trust me, I did. So
Sure.
she's tough, but you know what? It's like, hey, if anybody gives me a trouble, I'll have her beat them up.
Okay, so what do people misunderstand about you the most?
Well, one of my favorite skills is being underestimated.
Me too.
I mean, to look at me, it's like you have a lot of people make a lot of stereotypes about me. I've surprised many people. I've surprised many people when I picked up a guitar, because I don't look like a guitarist. I was surprised if people said, "Hey," can I try that? And so here, and then I'll break into some Eric Johnson or Jimi Hendrix, and they're like, "You don't."
Damn.
And also, I don't look like my voice. I think you might agree with that.
I don't know. I associate your voice with you, but maybe if I didn't meet you.
Well, yeah, you've had the tragedy of seeing me, so. But if you're just listening to me, you get a different impression. So, but I've worked on this voice. This is rehearsed. This is so.
It's a show voice.
Well, my father is a big influence in that. He, even though he died when I was still very young, he was very. He didn't like when his kids used a Southern accent too much. He said, speak proper English, and he tried to
speak good English, son.
Yeah. What I don't talk good. You think you're too good for No. He says you need to speak professionally, and he ingrained that in us, and writing
wow,
too.
He did a good job.
Yeah, he also taught me how to write. I was writing before I went to kindergarten because he was very good on penmanship. So I still appreciate everything he taught me even before school.
That's good. I know I feel the same way about my dad. My dad has a lot of good values that he passed down to me, and I feel like that's why I've been protected a lot in life, is because my values protect me.
Yeah, I gotta say you're very stand-up person. You always have been.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I think the same thing about you.
Oh, you think too highly of me.
So what has been your favorite job that you've had? And also, because I know you've had a lot of jobs. And also, what is your least favorite job that you've had?
Oh, here we go. She's right. I've had a lot of jobs. Okay, I love the job I'm currently doing because I get to work with Excel spreadsheets all day, and I love Excel. I get to do reports all day, and that's a dream come true for me. And I work from home. But I think they're thinking back before the budget cuts. I was a librarian for the city of Richmond, and I have to admit those were some of the best days of my life. I loved going to work every day. I loved working with the books, and I was the director for the TV station. And I got to work with music scores all day. So I loved my job. I loved going to the library every day. But as time went on and budgets got cut, I got moved to different branches, and then finally there was no more room for me. So They made cuts, and I went started working for hospitals, doing Excel spreadsheets. But the least favorite job, that has to be my time in fast food.
Ooh, yeah.
I worked McDonald's for a while, and that was some hard work. I'll tell you that. I God bless every one of them who's still working there, and I make sure never to give you a hard time because I know what you're going through. So yeah, I have to say fast food time. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I feel like that'd be too much work for me. I just don't do well in fast-paced environments. My brain doesn't work quickly.
I see a lot of senior citizens now working for McDonald's and all that, and I'm wondering,
really, wow,
how do you do that?
Poor things. That's so sad.
Yeah.
Maybe they like it though. Maybe they do.
Yeah, maybe they pace themselves. Maybe they know they know how to do it.
Well, moving on. What is an insult that you've received that you are proud of?
Oh,
that's a tough question. So,
an insult I've received. Well, I've had. Let's see. Well, someone once called me a heathen, and I was like, well, thank you. But they weren't used to that. I mean, I'm a little bit. I mean, I say I grew up in religion, so maybe that's not. I'm more spiritual than religious these days. But so when somebody says something like that, I especially I consider the source it's coming from, and I was like, do you think that me? Oh, that's so nice of you to say. I used to when I was a kid, I was a chubby kid, and I was like, I would always beat people to the insult, As somebody started talking about my weight, I said, yeah, when I stand up and turn around, I race a blackboard.
Yeah, you're a jokester.
Yeah, I sit in the first 3 rows. Yeah.
I know. I remember, I don't know if you would know, Lee, who this artist is, but I remember in first grade, the song Shake That Thing, Miss Annabella by Sean Paul came out that year. I think it was when I was in first grade, so it must have been maybe 2001, 2000. And I was in the bathroom, and I was like, I didn't know anyone was down there at my school, and I was singing the song and dancing in the mirror. But Sean Paul is like Rastafarian, like he's from Jamaica, and he's like, Shake that thing, Miss Annabella. And this girl came out of the bathroom, and I remember who it was, and she's not a nice girl, but I'm not going to say her name. But she's like, you're weird, Olivia. And like, that's the moment that it all clicked for me, that I knew I was a weird kid. I wasn't like, I've never been the cool kid. Mm-hmm. I know it's a surprise. I've always been that weird girl.
No, you're cool.
But not like, you know how there's like weird, but then there's like the weird, silly girl. I was the weird, silly girl.
Oh, okay.
I was full of jokes. I was in drama, and I loved Sean Paul, and I still do.
See, for me, 2001 is considered new music.
Oh yeah, same here. But Sean Paul, I mean, he's not popular at the moment. I guess he is kind of.
I remember him. Yeah, I remember Sean Paul. Yeah. He had a few hits, but once again, it's hard to remember the hits of just 5-6 years ago, and that's like
I don't even know any of them.
That's
from
20 years ago. I picture you. I could picture you dancing. It's like too bad cell phones hadn't been invented yet. You've probably been doing a video of yourself in the mirror.
I don't know. I'm more of a private girl.
Oh, that's right. I've never. I don't think you're like a selfie person. I know a lot of selfie people.
No, I'm not really a selfie girl.
Yeah, you just have a few. I just seen a few.
Yes.
It's not
tastefully done.
And usually you're trying to capture yourself at the event. You're trying to make the memory. It's just like
yes.
But I do know somebody, and I won't mention names, but she was taking at least 20 to 30 pictures of herself a day.
Yikes!
And
that sounds like she needs. It's kind of sad. Some people really do have some self-esteem problems, and it's sad.
Well, remember, guys, if a woman says she has low self-esteem, she probably has less esteem even for you.
Ooh.
It's because don't ever try to be a predator on a woman because she has low self-esteem, because it means you're lower. It's like,
Okay, I have another random one for you.
let's go.
And then maybe we should move on to some whimsical questions. But tell me, what does your typical morning routine look like, Lee?
Okay, this is easy. I take my showers at night, so by morning I just roll out of bed and walk right into the office and sign on the computer.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, well, sometimes it'll be coffee first, then sign on, or I'll get coffee as the computer signing on. But yeah, so it's wake up, computer, coffee.
Wake up, grab a brush, and put a little makeup.
The best part of waking. I'll let you finish that one.
I forgot what that was.
Oh my gosh.
FarmersOnly.com.
So I know too many jingles from commercials.
I know, the too many are mixed up in my head.
Oh, let's now you say you have whimsical questions?
Yes, as usual.
Oh, okay.
This one's funny. Well, hold on a minute. Okay, if you had to eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Cheeseburgers.
Cheeseburger in paradise.
I know, and I'm not going to be shy about that one. It's like close second would be Sparrow's Pizza, but
Ooh, shout out for the third time.
Yep. Hey, yeah, Olivia's the one who got me hooked on Sparrow's Pizza, so blame her. But yeah,
the best.
The cheeseburger is still my favorite food in the world. It's got every food group right there. If you add pickles and onions, you got every food group represented.
Except for fish.
That's not a food group. That's right. Well, for you it is. It's a food group. Yeah, and since I've stopped drinking sodas, I have. It's like I can taste everything better.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So now I'm going to have to ask you a question. It's a whimsical question.
Whimsical.
Okay, let's see. Okay. Well, trying to find a good one here. Oh, if at birth you could choose the profession, if you could choose the profession you would eventually have, what would it be?
I know this is weird, but I've always, when I was little, I wanted to be, what's her name? Shirley Temple. I always I know she ended up having not so great of a life, but I always wanted to be like a star. Someone who sings and dances for a living and entertains the masses.
Oh,
I think that I was born to be on the stage and making people laugh and performing and kind of like a Lady Gaga. I've always felt like I wasn't the most popular kid in school, but I also wasn't hated. But I just, like, people always thought, like, Olivia's a little weird because I had a lot of, like, weird ideas. I was really creative and artistic, and I still am. And I feel like I could have been, like, a Lady Gaga type of girl.
Well, that brings up a question I have for you. I've known you. I known you were a performer when I first met you. And now you're a great podcast hostess. So I know you've got a bit of the stage in you. If you could perform one song in front of a big audience to be broadcast all over the world, what would be your song?
You know what? As of now, it's a song that you told me about, "Love Alive" by Heart.
Oh. Okay, yeah.
That'd be pretty badass.
It has gentle music. It has heavy metal in it. It's a little bit of everything.
Yep, definitely a 60s, 70s rock song. That's my passion.
Yeah, you have the style for it. You're not... You own the stage. I've seen you sing. I've seen there are videos out there of you singing Skater Boy, I think.
Oh yeah, you'll find it if you stalk my Instagram.
Yeah, you're definitely a performer. You're not just a singer, you're a performer.
Yeah, I'm a ham. I love the spotlight.
Ham.
I don't like to be professional though, and like I'm very shy when it comes to public speaking, but like professionally. But when it comes to my art, I'm a ham.
There you go. All right. So, what you got for me? Got one more quizzical,
Okay.
whimsical.
What was your favorite subject in school?
Oh, math. Definitely math.
What? Oh,
No,
yeah, you're a data analyst.
I'm a numbers geek. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
And now, I had one great history teacher. I have to admit, I had one great history teacher who made it interesting. But you can't. It's like for me, a lot of it was who your teacher is. But yeah, besides that,
true.
yeah, I love the numbers. And I got one more for you.
Okay.
What is your most treasured memory?
Oh Lord. It's impossible to pick. But there's with my family, I would say with my dad, we spent a lot of time together when I was a little girl, and my mom and dad were divorced. So I got like one-on-one time with both parents, like intensely. And I didn't have any siblings when I was little. But my dad would rake up leaves during the fall in upstate New York onto this tarp. And then I would get in the middle of the tarp and he'd roll me up with the leaves. And I would never do this now. Like, ew, what if there's bugs and like animals?
Yeah,
but I loved it back then. And he would wrap me up in the tarp and he would drag me across the line with the leaves. And I thought it was the funnest thing on earth.
Oh, that's a great one. That's a great. I'm going to go ahead and I might even answer that one myself. It's like a lot of people don't know about this, but my wife and I, we used to do ghost hunting. We used to travel up and down the East Coast searching for ghosts and
that's cool,
and folklore and paranormal stuff. And in 2004, we took a week-long trip to New England and the Northeast, looking for all sorts of haunted places and things. And we ended up in Salem, Massachusetts. And
of course,
yeah, you have to. And it was like it was the last night of vacation, and we just left the restaurant, and they had this giant clipper ship, one of these old 3-masted ships, like sailing ships, and it was sitting in the bay, and it was a beautiful full moon, and it was right behind this boat. And even then, I said, it's never going to get better than this. As I'm with my wife on a cool night, on a cool October night near Halloween, and we're in Salem, Massachusetts. I said, it'll never get better than this, and yeah, and so that's my most treasured memory.
I have one with Haroon. I want to talk. That reminds me of mine with Haroon. Actually, it's almost it's eerily similar. But Haroon and I and Liz and her husband, we went glamping in North Carolina, Hatteras Island, and we didn't have a bathroom in our cabin, so you had to like get up in the dark and walk to the bathroom, and it was kind of like a long walk. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I had to go to the bathroom really bad, and I didn't want to walk in the dark alone. So I woke up Haroon and we walked outside the cabin. We were so tired, and I looked up at the sky and I'm like, holy crap, Haroon, look. And we looked up and we both, and I'm from like the middle of nowhere, and I've never seen that many stars in my life. It was pitch black, and like there was no city lights because we were out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
And it was just billions of stars, and it was so beautiful.
Wow. That's the kind of thing, you have to remember it because there's no way you can capture a picture of it.
Yeah, and we both still remember it. It was like breathtaking.
Wow. That's awesome. Thank you.
It was very romantic.
I imagine, yeah. That's romance when he'll walk you down the beach. Yeah.
But we ended up just peeing in the yard.
Oh.
Romance.
Well, there we go. We're approaching an hour now. Is there anything else you want to share, or do you want to move on to anything else?
I think we should move on to Give It to Me, Lee.
Oh, I want to give it to you, but sadly, it's going to be bad news this week.
Oh, no.
Yeah. We were talking about when our fans hear this, it's probably going to be old news, but it's just to let you know that how fresh the pain is. It's like this is about the Titan, the little submarine that was going down to sea, the Titanic.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Coast Guard is now reporting. This has only been out in the past 2 or 3 hours. The Coast Guard is reporting that the submersible suffered a catastrophic implosion
Oh
that killed everyone
no.
on board.
What is an implosion?
Uh, Even if there's the tiniest crack in the hull, or if there's like anything's loose or anything, uh, it implodes. It explodes internally.
Oh my,
It
that
doesn't.
is terrifying.
It's like when you used to like breaking a picture tube. It's like on an old TV, those tubes are vacuum tubes. So you break it,
Yeah.
the air rushes in, and then when it rushes in, then it explodes back out.
That is that is one of my worst nightmares, and I'm just so heartbroken for the families.
Yes,
It's terrifying.
it's like there were a few billionaires on board, but there was also a French researcher who just wanted to see the Titanic. He'd been studying the Titanic all his life, and he wanted to just go down and see it one time. So we have they're gonna there's almost no possibility of recovering bodies, because an implosion underwater like that, there's not going to be anything. So they're going to try to get pieces of the wreckage, and that's the best they can do. I don't know, as I said, when our fans hear this, it's going to be old news, but as of right now, they're saying that the little ship wasn't even rated to go that deep. It was only supposed to go down about 1,200 meters, and the Titanic is actually 4,000 meters down.
It's kind of ironic, and I don't know if it's insensitive for me to say, but like what they said with the Titanic, even God himself couldn't sink this ship. People still had that mentality, I guess, going down in that little pill.
Yeah, you can't say that it can't happen, because it. In fact, people were saying that it's like by saying that it can't happen, you're tempting fate. So
just you have to respect nature.
Oh yeah,
she'll get you every time.
I've been watching one thing I do is I collect a lot of like extreme weather videos, and it's amazing what the weather will do to you. Hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes.
Even just like boogie boarding. I remember when I was little, one of the most traumatic events of my life that still haunts me is I was boogie boarding in New Jersey at Jersey Shore, and I got sucked under, and I had the boogie board attached to my ankle, like the Velcro thing, because I thought it looked cool, and I thought I was like a surfer girl. And I got sucked underneath the current, and I almost drowned to death, and nobody knew it except me. Because nobody believed me. I was a little girl. I'm like, I just almost drowned. Yeah, Olivia. But I really almost did.
Oh, it's not that deep, that undertow. Yeah. Do not underestimate an undertow. It'll drag you right out to sea.
The ocean is scary.
In a way, yeah. I love boats, but not the ocean. No, I won't say that. I love ships. I love the old sailing ships. But if I can stay on the ship, I'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of going in the ocean, to be honest. I'm too scared of it.
So ocean, how about flying? How you on flying?
Just the older I get, the more scared I am of everything. I had a bad experience on a plane not too long ago.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Pray tell.
I went to Mexico with my best friends from high school in 2017, and on our way back from Mexico, flying through the Gulf, and back to where did we go from? To JFK, but we had to fly into the Gulf of Mexico, apparently. I don't know. I'm not very good at geography, but I believe that's what we were doing. There was a bad storm that we hit, and our plane it felt like it was free falling, and everyone on the plane was screaming. It was so traumatic. Everyone was bawling and screaming, tons of people out of fear. And there's not that many times. We're lucky as Americans, because I feel like there hasn't been a lot of times where we have felt fear like that and like
Yeah.
heard that many people scream at once out of sheer terror.
Oh
And it
no.
happened twice, and we all thought the plane was gonna just crash into the ocean. And luckily we survived, but it was terrifying.
Oh yeah, you got turbulence, you have microbursts, you have those all sorts of like the air can do weird things, especially as you get up high.
Yeah,
And
and
then
it didn't even like it was like I felt bad turbulence, but like
Mhm.
that was like free falling.
Jeez. Yeah, I've only flown like 2 or 3 times in my life. I've never really needed to go that far. So, so yeah, so God bless you. You know, you just travel, you jet set. But
I suppose I don't travel that often.
yeah, so, well, no, you do. You go
Not
home. You
really.
visit home a lot.
Well, I drive.
Yeah. In fact, she's headed. She's headed. She's also making her escape tomorrow. She's leaving and going home, visiting New York. So I'll be alone here at the dungeon in Virginia. So
Oh yeah, I'm going to see the NASCAR races in Watkins Glen with my family. My
yes.
stepdad got VIP tickets, so you'll be hearing about my experience. This is my second time doing a VIP NASCAR event.
Mhm.
I'm lucky.
Hey,
I don't
Watkins.
even like NASCAR that much.
Oh, you don't.
I'm not a fan.
Oh, the fun is in the stands and in the parking lot.
Yep.
And and that was also where one of the biggest rock concerts of all time ever happened at Watkins Glen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, so everybody's taking off. Now I don't take vacation till October because I'm a Halloween guy.
He's
But
a Halloweeny.
yeah, the ladies are summer travelers, so they're gonna have fun, and we'll miss you while you're gone. But our fans won't because this episode will be coming out next Thursday, and it'll be
Yep.
on schedule. You'll hear it, and we're never gonna leave you alone. We'll always be there for you.
Yep, we will be there for our audience.
Yeah.
We love you and we love making you proud. And this week we are, if Lee is okay with it, I think we should skip Guess Lee's name because we need Liz here for that. It's
Yeah.
not as fun.
Yeah, you had an unfair advantage. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll be 1 week ahead of her if I do it without her. So I'll let her rejoin us for that. And for me, I will make some shout outs.
Mhm.
Shout out to Glen Allen Service Center, lifesavers this week. I mean, they saved me so much money. I was so scared and just stressed out, and they took good care of me. And it's easy to take advantage of girls that don't know anything about cars. So thank you, Jimmy.
And my shout out is for the Bowtie Cinemas. You keep it classy, you keep it clean, and you have a great you have great people there. They were very helpful, and they welcomed our group last night. So thank you, Bowtie Cinemas.
Thank you. When you allow everyone to use your bathroom, because they wouldn't let me use it during the St. Patrick's Day event.
Oh.
So, but shout out to them for keeping it classy.
And I guess that's about it for tonight then.
Aw, my cat is snuggling me right now. Poo poo.
Oh, we're all cat lovers here.
I have a little black cat named Boo Boo, and she's wants me to get off the phone now and give her attention.
Well, thank you, Olivia. Thank you so much for calling in tonight and keeping me company here in the dungeon.
Yeah, thank you, Lee, for your magic machine that can call me into the podcast. It's awesome investing in all this great technology.
Well, I have nothing else better to do, so it's like then spend time with my friends, talking to all of our fans, and once again, I have to give a shout out to all of y'all for listening to us.
Yeah, shout out to you guys, and make sure that you, if you want to help the podcast, make sure you rate us you can rate us on Spotify, you can rate us on Apple Podcasts. It really helps our podcast take off because we're still babies. And if you could give us a follow if you haven't already on Instagram at O Lala _RVA, and we're on Facebook too, and you can find all of our socials. Just type us in and you'll find us. But we appreciate you, and we look forward to next episode. We have a cool person lined up. I believe we are interviewing the founder of Wear RVA, the charity fashion show in Richmond. So pretty exciting.
All right, everyone. Have a good night, and we'll
see you next time
in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.